is still less than 1%. And for us to increase this, we have to find a better way to do our distribution, and which is why Coronation, being an innovative company, always bring out all these webinars to say, okay, this is where the industry is, and this is where we can actually go to. For example, I bring a perfect scenario to the table. Currently in Nigeria, we have network penetration to cover like 97, according to the Telecom Association. So using insurance penetration, we can use telco to also deepen this insurance adoption. And how will this happen? Looking at where the remote areas where we cannot go to, where our agents cannot go to, where brokers cannot go to, the only way we can reach out to them is through telecommunication, which is technology. So today we're going to be considering how we can use this telco, how we can use technology to even drive insurance uptake and also drive insurance penetration. And you'll believe with me that even most of us, even in Lagos, Abuja, the urban city, we still prefer doing businesses around technology. We don't like going to our brokers. We easily want to sit in our house, in our domain, in our comfortable area, to just click on our phones and get our insurance, either for phones, for a protection policy, or for our motor, is what we like. So today, that's what we're going to be speaking to. And because in emerging economies, the emerging economies face unique challenges in insurance adoption, including low awareness that we know today, operational inefficiency, and financial barriers. So Insurtech, basically, we're going to be considering, dissecting, and discussing Insurtech today. And how does Insurtech work? Insurtech is just insurance. It's just insurance and technology. Insurtech, insurance, technology. Insurance is protecting you. Technology is a like easier way of getting that protection. And when you have a claim, either using like indemnity that will restore you back, or a benefit policy, if you'll be happy that you can easily go to a portal, go to an app and file all the necessary documents and somebody attend to it, rather than you running to a broker, calling your agent, going to, for example, coming to, maybe you stay in Mowe and you have to come to Coronation Insurance PLC at the island. At the end of the day, you might even waste money that is more than the claim you want to make. So we are going to be discussing all these issues and how Coronation is also working on it. So we're going to be discussing Insurtech innovation, ranging from digital onboarding, AI-driven underwriting, mobile platforms, data analytics, and transforming the landscape of making insurance simpler, faster, more affordable. And this webinar aims to provide insight into these transformations and their implication for both insurer and policyholder. So our thought panelists today and our keynote speaker will not only speak to something that will favor the insurance alone. They are going to speak to how policyholders will also benefit. And the objective basically is just to educate our participants today on how Insurtech innovation are accelerating insurance adoption in emerging markets. We're considering emerging markets, not Nigeria, looking at examples all over the world, how Insurtech has actually transformed the economy. Then showcase practical example of technology-driven solution that address common adoption challenges. So we're going to be looking at even those Insurtech that are currently running, but their challenges and what we here in Coronation, what we're working on to make it better. Highlight Coronation Insurance initiative leveraging digital tools to enhance customer experience and accessibility, share experts insight. So these are all the things we are going to be considering today. So thank you. And what you are what we are supposed to be expecting is engaging discussion. We want engagement. We want you to discuss with us. We want you to discuss with us. We want you to see, to bring to bear what you actually want from insurance, how we can better use technology to push the adoption, and how you want us to also use technology to get your claims format. So, and for the order of events today, we're going to be having the opening remark, which will be taken by my I'm able ED, Mr. Adewale Adeneye, then introduce our host, keynote presentation, introduce our panelists and panel of discussion. Then we have a Q&A session and open. We have like closing remarks and vote of thanks. So I'll be your moderator today. My name is Oluwaseyi Ibileke, and I know you would have you've heard a lot from me, so you know what to expect. If as just a moderator, I did research and I can be speaking like this, I believe our keynote speaker and our panelists will do a great justice to all the discussions today and whatever question that you'll be bringing to us. Thank you. On this note, please permit me to welcome my executive director, Mr. Adewale Adeneye. Thank you, sir. Idi, sir.
Thanks, Oluwaseyi Ibileke. Good morning, everyone. Like Oluwaseyi rightly introduced, I'm Adewale Adeneye, the Executive Director of Technical Operations at Coronation Insurance PLC. It is my pleasure to welcome you to this webinar titled How Insurtech is Changing Insurance Adoption in Emerging Economies. And I want to thank you for taking time to join us this morning. And across emerging markets, one challenge has remained consistent for decades. Insurance penetration is low. It's less than 1% in Nigeria. Not because the need does not exist, but because access, awareness, affordability, and trust have not always aligned with the realities of everyday people and businesses. Today, technology is changing that narrative. From digital onboarding and AI-driven underwriting to mobile-first platforms and data analytics, Insurtech is redefining how insurance is distributed, understood, and experienced. What used to feel complex and distant is becoming simpler, faster, and more accessible. What this really means is that insurance can now meet people where they are, not the other way around. At Coronation Insurance PLC, we see technology not as a trend, but as an enabler of inclusion, an enabler of efficiency, an enabler of trust. Our commitment is to leverage digital tools and innovation to make insurance more responsive to the needs of individuals, families, and businesses across emerging markets. This webinar is part of our broader thought leadership agenda to create meaningful conversations around the future of our industry. We want to move beyond theory and explore practical solutions. What is working? What needs to improve? And how can insurers, Insurtech founders, regulators, and partners collaborate to accelerate adoption responsibly and sustainably? We have assembled today voices who will share real-life case stories, practical insights, and forward-looking perspectives. I encourage you all to listen actively, engage fully, and make the most of the Q&A sessions. The future of insurance in emerging economies will be shaped by conversation like this and by actions that follow them. So we are not just going to be having conversation, what follows after the conversation and what actions are we going to take about the future of insurance. Thank you once again for being part of this important discussion. I personally look forward to an engaging and insightful session. Thank you, everyone, as we begin the journey today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Adewale. And not to waste time, Please permit me to introduce our guest speaker, which is our keynote speaker today. And her name is Mrs. Enobong Ezekiel, and she is the Chief Executive Officer of Cora 8 Limited. And permit me to read a profile, a short profile. Enobong Lerota Ezekiel is a seasoned business leader with over 20 years of experience driving growth, transformation, and performance across banking, finance, energy, and aviation. She is known for leading organizations through complexity, building clear strategies, and aligning teams to deliver measurable results. Her expertise spans corporate and enterprise strategy, performance management, culture transformation, operation improvements, financial and risk oversight, and stakeholders engagement across senior executive roles at NACO PLC, Ikeja Electric, Keystone Bank, Access Bank, Diamond Bank. She has consistently led large-scale transformation and strengthening business performance. She is the founder and chief executive of Cora 8 Limited, a consulting and coaching firm focused on leadership, clarity, sustainable growth. Beyond her corporate work, she is a sought-after keynote speaker, facilitator, mentor, and podcast host, supporting professionals and women leaders in building confidence and accountability. Dr. Enembong holds an executive MBA from Quantic School of Business and Technology, a master's degree in business administration and management, and a bachelor degree in English. She is certified counselor and was inducted as a distinguished fellow of the Chartered Institute of Leadership, Manpower and Management Development, where she received a doctorate of philosophy in leadership and strategy management in recognition of her contribution to leadership practice. Join me in welcoming our keynote speaker as she takes the floor. Thank you, Ma.
Thank you so much, Shay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Enobong Ezekiel. First, I'd like to say a big thank you to the Coronation Group, Coronation Insurance, for finding me beneficial to be the keynote speaker for today's event. And I'm really thrilled because we have a topic to discuss that is actually reshaping the financial inclusion globally. How Insurtech is revolutionizing the insurance adoption in emerging economies. Today, we are not just going to be talking about incremental changes. We are at the position now that we are witnessing a fundamental shift in how billions assess, financial protection. And I'd also like to say, thank you to the panelists who are also here. It will be a good opportunity and a good time to spend when we are doing the Q&A. Now, this topic is not just about being a business opportunity. It's actually a societal imperative. Today, with the few minutes that I have, we would explore how technology is closing the protection gap, creating more resilient future for everyone. So I have a few slides to share, and I'd like us to just have a flow with me as I go through the slides and talk through the slides. And I hope that the number of participants that are on right now, would be able to garner something from here and would be able to come up with, questions that can be dealt with across the panel today. Okay, so we want to start currently in the insurance business. Now, this slide is just telling us that, that the numbers tell a stark story, a really stark story. as it is today, from the research that I have also done, so Shea, I also did a research like you, 97% of Africans are currently living without insurance protection, and this is not just a representation of the billions of people that are vulnerable to financial ruin, from a single unexpected event. Anything could happen, and all of a sudden there's chaos. And in emerging markets, the insurance penetration itself averages a mere 2.9%, a sharp contrast to developed nations. And this is a massive protection gap, which means that, for instance, if there was a crop failure, or a medical emergency or a small accident, families can be pushed into poverty in one swoop, just like that. And this is a major crisis, because we can't be looking at it as a problem of today of tomorrow or next week. It's actually a problem for today. It's a crisis that is unfolding on a daily basis today. So the crisis is, excuse me, the crisis is the fact that traditional insurance, has not yet been able to address the current situation of events as it is. So this gap has persisted for way too long. And why? Why has it persisted for so long? And one of the reasons why it has persisted for so long is because it is rooted first in the barriers that we face. Let me say we, and that we being those of us who are unable to assess, insurance adoption. It's been there for so long. There is the stark level of awareness. There is no significant, way people are assessing or understand or trust why they should, be under any sort of insurance, because they do not, there's a lot of distrust. And I can speak for myself as well. I'm proud to when I understood the need to insure. There was a lot of distrust, that I also personally had way back though, and it took a lot of, talking to and all. But how much can you keep talking? We need to start doing things that will help people to actually begin to trust people, because there's a lot of distrust coming from financial institutions. People have lost a lot of money, by just putting, their funds there and thinking, or paying those premiums and thinking that when they have issues, the insurance companies will come through for them. Then there's the operational, inefficiencies that plagues the sector. There's so much cumbersome paper processes, products are often probably too costly, there's no space for, low-income populations. There are no flexible payment options. So those things are there, and when these things are too expensive, or people cannot afford it, or there's no flexibility as to how they can continue to, follow up on this product, then people they jettison it, they leave it, they distrust it, and they just walk away from it. And then there is the hurdle, physical presence. How do people in rural areas, how are they able to assess? Agents are scarce in those areas. There's nobody talking to them within those areas. So all these factors have created a vicious circle, a literally vicious circle, that excludes so many people, majority of the population, billions of people, from essential economic protection. And this is where we need to start seeing that the story changes for us. And that's where we get to the inflection point. How are we now merging, using technology as a revolutionary force? And that's where Insurtech comes in, where Insurtech starts to dismantle the old barriers and begins to build a new ecosystem. Today, we stand at that pivotal point, that pivotal moment where inflection, in technology is having to start to reshape the landscape, So Insurtech, for those, listening, and for those who understand it, it's not just an enabler. It's a revolutionary force. It's that force that comes in and starts to break down all the old thoughts, all the old barriers, all the old, understanding that we had before. And Insurtech at this point is building a new and more inclusive insurance ecosystem. And this transformation is driven by powerful sources, one of it being the mobile adoption, where you're creating, direct customer channels. You're ensuring that you are able to bypass whatever traditional infrastructure issues were reigning in the past, but you are now breaking it down. The average, excuse me, the average human to say now holds a mobile phone at some point. Some of it may be Android, some all those fancy ones, but even the quote and unquote more low degraded forms are beginning to increase some of the effects that they have on those phones, on some of those I don't know what word to use for it now, and to ensure that there is an adoption to be able to reach out to these things. And this is where Insurtech needs to take advantage of, because the whole essence is that you want to make insurance a bit more affordable, faster, simpler, and accessible to these undeserved billions. And then you have the AI and analytics, where you now have, a more intelligence, artificial intelligence has come into play. There is more precise risk assessment. You're able to ensure you're personalizing it. There is innovation that is happening across it. Product designs are being created, and things are just moving. You're addressing now, not just, opening up just one size fits all. You are now addressing specific market needs. And when you address specific market needs, you reach more people. And when all these forces come together, you make insurance actually a bit more simpler and faster and very, very accessible to the billions. And it starts with one device in somebody's pocket, because people are trying to ensure that they can become a bit more comfortable when they are assessing, these insurance products. Now, let's talk the mobile technology. And the mobile technology is that gateway to the billions. That single most powerful tool that is in the pocket of every human being, literally, everybody is assessing it. You're using it to create channels to millions of potential customers, completely bypassing anyone having to come to your office. And then, of course, that obviously means that you're also reducing overheads on your side, because there are no operational offices where people need to go. They just only need to access this. So there's a seamless digital onboarding, policy management, and claims, processing. This mobile first approach is the transformative part of what the emerging markets have been doing so far, because with the smartphone, penetration is much higher, and the traditional banking infrastructure is completely either eliminated or is limited. And insurance now becomes not one that is, confined to office hours, whereby it is a question of a 9 to 5 and 8 to 6 or whatever, but is available on demand. You can get on, and that's what even a lot of them. So today, for instance, you can access your money market transactions just sitting down on your phone. You don't need to get up and start walking into any office and trying to do that. You can start and start and finish everything just by holding your phone. And that's where the mobile technology is very, very important for Insurtech at this very point in time. Then you have the AI and analytics again, so I'm talking about it now on a broader level, where you now have, because you're following the mobile technology, then the analytics itself, the data itself becomes true intelligence between, behind the transformation. So there is precision, there is speed, there is, personalization. People are becoming a lot more connected, to your product, to your service, because you're seeing personalization like never before. There's nothing as interesting as you looking at your phone, entering your own password, having that app, dedicated to you. You come in and it welcomes you. That's what it does. Because, like I put it there, an example is the only life in Latin America that offers instant approval for life insurance policies up to 1 million is from the phone, up to 1 million, because the speed, the precision, the game changers. I actually did a tried to do a dummy, touch just to check if this actually was working, and it's working. Okay, so because of the speed, the precision, they have become game changers, because data analytics allows you to allows that hyper personalization, where you are creating products tailored to specific needs and people's budgets. So you're not now coming with those paper things that used to happen before, and you are saying, and written on the paper says, if it is not from this amount to this amount, you cannot do it, if it's not from this amount. But now you are able to do specific needs and budgets. And as AI continuously automates, this complex workflow as it is, onboarding, becomes so much easier. If people are trying to do their claims, it's easy. If you're trying to reduce cost, it's easy. You're making it accessible and affordable for as many people. Remember the gap, 97%. That is a huge gap, So it is so important that we're looking at this technology and how it fuels innovation. Then we're looking at the innovation tailored to the local needs itself. And if you're powering AI, you're powering technology into fostering the product in itself, to local markets, you now begin to see that new models emerge for true, specific market needs. Microinsurance, for instance, offers small ticket products covering specific risk for low-income individuals. Polar advisors, for instance, have over 15 billion smallholder farmers in Africa with crop and livestock insurance. That's what I mean when I say you now have specific needs for it. It can't be one size fits all. You need to know what are the needs of the individuals, what do they need, and then you're tailoring your products, to ensure that you're fitting the needs of the people. So what Polar has done is they have shown that the power of targeted, affordable solutions can help these crops and these farmers with their crops and their livestock. And then they built a system around it, and they offered it to the smallholder farmers in Africa. And these smallholder farmers have gathered into it, and over 15 million farmers are now enjoying that. Imagine that number. Imagine them covering that more. Then you talk about Takaful, the insurance, Islamic insurance, which is currently experiencing a potential explosive growth because there was a mutual protection and risk sharing. The market is, as at 2024, if I'm not mistaken, there were about 101 billion or something. Now they're about 90 something billion. Now they are targeted in 2030 to 127 billion. You can imagine that these innovations prove that technology, combined with the fact that you as insurers have a cultural sensitivity towards your customers, unlocks entirely, new customer segments. And you need to keep finding these customer segments in them. So you dive from regional, markets as you are in, and you start to go, deep dive into more local needs that, and that's where the population is, that's where the market is. And it's so important that we're covering that. Then let's look at Latin America, because we're looking at emerging markets, so we're looking at Brazil. It's not a theoretical transformation. It's happening now in the regions of Latin America. In Brazil, for instance, the insurance market there reached 174 billion in 2022 and is literally growing at an annual 11% annually. I'm a data person, so forgive me if you're seeing a lot of data. I'm a data person. So I like to use data to show what is happening and the need for us to understand that there is a market out there, and that market is what we are trying to address. Okay. And a protection gap of 162 billion. I mean, look at these numbers. Just imagine, if you shut your eyes for a few seconds and imagine the market that we have with the population that we have in Nigeria alone. I'm not even talking about the whole of Africa. We call us the giant of Africa. So imagine us as the giant of Africa. You shut your eyes for a few minutes and imagine how much we can do if we begin to explore some of this. So the Latin market, for instance, is pioneering an open insurance system. They are fostering collaboration, data sharing across industries. Their approach is to create innovative cross-sector products at lower cost. And that's why there's that growth. A significant life protection gap of 162 billion is what they are targeting. And this is a massive opportunity, for Insurtechs to address unmet needs and expand their access, and then ensure that we are and that's where we needed to talk about other emerging markets and then come down and try to bring it down to Africa. We're bringing it down to Africa, and we've said that our challenge right now is this 97% uninsured population. We have a 70 billion market size, but this uninsured, despite this billion market size, despite this, the real opportunity still lies in micro insurance for low income populations and informal workers. It is so important. So we need to look at how we are going into the mobile based platform and proving that transformation will start there, and how we are able to reach the rural areas where traditional distribution is impossible. You don't have agents in those areas, you have nobody, and so these people are left unprotected, so to speak. I gave the example of the polar advisors, where they exemplified that there is success because they have amassed 15 million customers in farmers protecting crop, with building a product that covers their crops and the other and livestock insurance. What are we doing? We are so big up on agri-tech right now. We are so big up on agriculture right now. How have we harnessed that market? Because technology can overcome any traditional barriers. It can overcome any geography. It can overcome any infrastructure and cost, and then bring financial protection to Africa's vulnerable populations. So we need to explore what it is that we're doing, and that's why I highlighted that Paula's advice, because we have it there. We have the market, but what are we doing with the market? Very important. And so again, Takafu, we're looking at this. How are you be using? There's only a 1% of insurance penetration across board. The Middle East with under 1% was, so they used this opportunity. Insurance penetration was 1%. So they used it. Imagine where 2022, they were at 31.7 billion. I even increased it for them when I was speaking. They were at 31.7 billion, and they are targeting this by 126, which is not too far away. It's not too far away. So you can imagine on the explosive growth trajectory that they want to go to, and Saudi Arabia, which is one of the largest market that they have, the UAE and Saudi Arabia are emerging. They are building emerging Insurtech hubs. They are nurturing startups. They are nurturing new businesses. They are nurturing same farmers. They are using regulatory sandboxes. They are using partnerships, because they have seen what technology can do. They have seen what it can do, and they are looking at technology combined with cultural alignment creates a powerful momentum for market transformation. So it is so important that as we talk, as we continue with this session today, and as we get into the Q&A session, that our minds are opened up to, Ghana, what those things that it is that we can do to move the market forward in Nigeria, and then of course in Africa, as the case may be, because I believe that there are people watching this from outside Nigeria as well. So what is Coronation Insurance role in all this? What is Coronation Insurance role? Which is where we are here for a reason. And the reason is what value are we bringing to the table, under the Coronation Insurance? We've seen how Insurtech has transformed markets globally. We've seen how it's worked in various parts in emerging markets. Now we want to bring it home. And Coronation Insurance, being an established insurer, cannot just be watching this revolution from the sideline. They must be actively leading it. And we understand that the future isn't about replacing traditional models, but about smart collaborations and innovation. That is what we are trying to do. So one, they need to embrace digital transformation. Okay, this is the time where there's a need to sit down and begin to invest heavily in technology, because you cannot be an Insurtech if you are not investing in the tools that takes you to that place. So investing in technology to make our customers' experience a more smoother and operations, and make work more efficient, and actively participate and partner with other insurtechs. It's important. This is not the time to do me, myself, and I. How are we leveraging and partnering with other insurtechs that are available, that are already doing it? How are we leveraging the agility to reach new markets and develop these innovative products that can be used, that our customers can enjoy and they can, use? And most importantly, how are we championing financial inclusion? How are we recognizing that providing access to insurance is both a critical business opportunity and a profound social responsibility? Yes, it's social responsibility, because it will enable us to position ourselves as Coronation Insurance as enablers and partners in this digital revolution. We don't want to be seen as obstacles, so we need to be seen as partners. And so what does this mean for us in the future of insurance? What does this mean for us in the future of insurance? In the future of insurance and beyond, looking ahead, the pace will change, definitely. By 2026 and beyond, and that's why I'm looking at 2022. 2026 is still very, very ripe. It's still, first trimester of a woman's pregnancy, if you allow me say that. It's still very young. So by 2026 and beyond, there are these three key trends will define the industry. One of it, which is hyper personalization. Insurance products now need to be tailored to individual lifestyles. You cannot just be churning out insurance products as you feel like anymore. And it's not fitting anybody. And that's why when you do your numbers, you find out that some products have not even generated even the cost of the design of the product, let alone bringing in the market. So you are channeling it and tailoring it to individual lifestyle, their behaviors, and their real-time needs, because this will power the advanced, data analytics that is going to be used. And then you have the agentic AI, which is, commonplace. These systems are like they are virtual co-workers handling complex tasks, from onboarding to claims to processing to there is a minimal human intervention. This is very important, because people jettison things when they feel that they are not getting, attention. That's why those days of they put you on a call for forever and nobody is taking your call. They're telling you go from this call to that call. Those things are not happening anymore. So now they have institutions have put in place structures whereby there is minimal human intervention, so that there is improved speed and accuracy when a customer is trying to do a transaction, online or something through their phone. Okay, and then there's the embedded insurance, which is a seamless integration of all the other products and services, making it at one point invisible yet an essential part of daily life. Because these trends are going to democratize insurance. They're going to make it more accessible, and they're going to make it affordable and relevant to diverse populations ever before. So that when you get into that, maybe an app that has been built or something, and I get in there, I should be able to see what works for me. I don't need to, go through a whole long hula baloo of products and that you're putting out there that doesn't add any value to me, not meeting my needs, and not addressing what my issues are. So how are we closing the protection gap? How do we want to close it? I call it the path forward and a call to action. That's what I call this, a path forward and a call to action. The need to build a future where everyone, regardless of income or location, has access to financial security. And the opportunity before us is immense. If we are harnessing the power of technology, we need to close the protection gap. We need to create a more resilient and equitable world. And this requires a collective effort from all the stakeholders that are there. The insurers must ensure that they are innovating and investing in technology. They are innovating. Digital transformation is no longer optional. It's no longer a nice to have. It's a need to have. It's essential for survival and growth. And then the regulators, they must create a platform where they are supportive, there is supportive environment and innovation for growth. They should not be the policeman that is consistently causing a bridge or an obstacle, okay, for where the insurance are coming up, because they will protect the customer and the financial stability, but they must be collaborators. And then you have the entrepreneurs who need to continue to push these boundaries. They need to continue to develop these solutions, and address the real market needs. Because if we actually do this, like I said, there is peace of mind. There is peace of mind, there's financial security, which insurance provides. And it is not just good for business, it is essential for global development and, human dignity. So as I close this, I want to say thank you. I hope, that this very short presentation has, been able to provide valuable insights into how Insurtech is transforming insurance adoption in emerging economies. And I'm happy that, we have a panel session that is not just going to be all talk, that we actually have a panel session where power leaders in the market space are going to address some key questions that will be asked, so that you will get more insights and hindsights into what it is that is expected to us. I want to thank you for your time and your attention. I want to thank Coronation as well for this opportunity. And I look forward to a continued collaboration in building a more inclusive, and protective future for the insurance industry. Thank you very much.
Wow. Thank you so much, ma. This is very educative and insightful, and we've really learned a lot from this presentation. And I know you won't do less, so we appreciate you for that. Thank you so much, ma. And
thank you, Shay. Thank you very much.
And just to mention to our Insurtech partners that are currently on this call, so you can now say that there's a big opportunity in this market for you. Yes, you might be having issues with getting approval and everything, but never relent. You will get the approval, and look at the opportunity and let the opportunity keep you going. Thank you so much, ma. I had a lot that I wrote down, but time will not permit us to start reiterating whatever you have said. But we really appreciate and we've learned a lot. Thank you, ma. So before I go to introducing my panelists for today, please can you just check the chat box? We have a poll for you, which will keep you engaged. Okay, sorry, on your screen. Yeah, it's coming on your screen. So it's just a click. It's just a click that you need to do. It's not, you don't need to go to chat box. You don't need to open any link. So just a click. Yes, no, yes. So that's what we have for you. Please check your screen and give us your feedback through the poll. Thank you so much. So permit me to go on to introducing our panelists for today. We have three of them. We have Mr. Nelson Madu, we have Mr. Gbenga Adigun, and we also have Dr. John Dada. And I will just read their profile before we dive into the discussion. So I will start with Mr. Nelson Madu. Mr. Nelson Madu is head of Information Technology Coronation Insurance PLC. Nelson is the Chief Information Officer, Information Technology and Digital Service at Coronation Insurance PLC, with over 26 years of experience in the financial services industry across Africa. So I believe with this profile, you know what we'll be getting from Mr. Nelson today. And then I move on to Mr. Gbenga Adigun, who is Chief Executive of Scra Limited. Gbenga Adigun is a founder and CEO of Scra and co-CEO of Reba Perfecta, where he leads finance and logistic strategy across construction, technology-driven ventures. He began his career in banking, spending 12 years at Guaranty Trust Bank and ARM before transitioning into construction logistics in 2020 and scaling Reba Perfecta into industry leader. So for Mr. Gbenga, who also even a founder, so I will believe his experience would also mean a lot to us today. Then we have Mr. John Dada, who is from Curacao. Mr. Dr. Dada, Dr. Dada, also known as Dr. Flash, is a software engineer, entrepreneur, and Y Combinator alumnus passionate about building technology that solves real-world problems. He is a co-founder and CTO of Curacao, an AI-driven Insurtech company backed by Google and Y Combinator, where he led the development of clinical AI systems that have helped health insurers across Africa prevent over $400 million in loss. So this caliber of people, we know what we're going to be getting from them, and I'm happy to start the discussion with them. So I will start with Mr. Madhu. Please don't forget to check your screen. If you have not done that, check your screen and let us have your feedback on the poll. So I will be starting with Mr. Madhu. So, sir, just in 2 minutes, before we even go, I have some questions here for you. During the course of the presentation, I've noted some questions which I will be asking you, but just for you to say, we give you the opportunity to say, what do you think about the InsurTech, and how does technology can help insurance penetration? Not to ask you a question, but just your general view in 2 minutes. Just your general view on this topic. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Shay, and thank you, our able guest speaker and the panelist, and then ladies and gentlemen on the webinar call. Speaking about the topic and how Insurtech is helping to reshape and then change adoption within the emerging market in the insurance industry. It's been an interesting journey, starting from the non-digital to the digital transition. And if you look at that name, Insurtech, it means insurance process powered by technology, making it efficient, easier, closer, better, and more efficient, eliminating that sense of distrust, and then increasing the sense of trust, especially in terms of claims, which is the main bane where most insurers draw their feedback and then resist accepting insurance. So looking at it, Insurtech has actually been very, very important in the field of enhancing insurance and adoption. And looking at insurance as a whole, insurance has three major parts. The first part is the onboarding, which is the inception. The second part is the underwriting process. The third part is risk crystallization, which is the checkout and the claims. That's where it happens. Essentially, insurance technology, which is the Insurtech, has enhanced how we onboard our customers using AI, eliminating customers coming to meet the insurance personnel within the office. And then when that happens, the people who underwrite the policies are also empowered in such a manner that their operational efficiency is achieved. And when risk crystallizes, they really need to not to interact physically with the insurance company. Rather, they could go to a platform on the comfort of their home through a mobile phone or laptop, initiate a process that instantly responds and guides them on how these things are done. And looking at this end to end, it has simply made things easier. You all agree that insurance is not bought, it is sold, because the partners, the players, has to go to the individuals, convince them, let them understand, educate them on the need of insurance before they could buy into the idea and then move ahead to make that insurance happen. So generally, Insurtech has played a significant role in making these things happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. That's a lot. So I will go to Mr. Gbenga Adigun. Just your general view about this topic. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thanks for having me. Thanks to Coronation, panelists, attendees, everyone, keynote speakers for that very enlightening introduction. Insurtech is a very interesting thing to discuss right now. It's a conversation that we'll keep having for the next 5 to 10 years. or even beyond. Because if you look at the data again, insurance penetration on the continent has been mentioned is about 0.5 to 0.7. Abysmal, very poor. That's almost non-existent because again, what that means is the contribution to GDP is almost non-existent. But again, as they say, if you're on the floor, you have no further to fall. And what that means is that it presents a very big opportunity for players like us, for the traditional insurance players like Coronation, to fintechs like Skrilla and others to collaborate, to co-create, and see how they can bring, products to the marketplace that would solve a real problem and help people to begin to trust the insurance process more, to the claims process. Because again, for insurance, the best marketing you can have is a paid claim. So we need to continue to collaborate to see ways where we can drive insurance protection rather much more, and to continue to preach and teach and sing the insurance song like Coronation is doing right now, that insurance is a financial protection mechanism that everybody needs. It has to be a way of life, a financial way of life, not something that is an option. But of course, as we go on into the discussions today, we'll deliberate more and see ways where we can improve the insurance process and see what the fintech and traditional insurance are doing to drive it to deepen insurance penetration.
All right, sir. Thank you so much then. Dr. John Dada, please, your view on the topic. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. It's been an interesting conversation so far. And without adding, because there really isn't much to add to what our amazing speakers have said, but I like to look at things from the large, big picture perspective, in the sense that on the African continent, insurance is not a default behavior of the average individual, except when the government mandates it and people have to comply. So the onus of Insurtech in Africa, in Nigeria, across our continent, will be to find ways to make sure that insurance is easily accessible and is put in the faces of everyone, and it is encouraged. It is made something that is more appealing, that they don't have to think too hard to get, right? And that is one of the premises in everything that we do in our organization. And I believe that will take insurance a long way in Africa. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. And this takes us to some of the questions that I've noted down during the course of the presentation, which I will be asking. And it takes me back to Mr. Nelson. So my first question to you would be on AI. AI and digital tools are often discussed, but few see real impact at scale. Can you share a behind the scene example of how a specific digital tool at Coronation Insurance has recently improved the efficiency and success rate of claims processing from start to finish? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Shay. Like I said earlier, one of the most resistant part of insurance, and what actually makes people feel that insurance is not something they should go into, and why the penetration is very low, is because of looking for how to get claims when risk crystallizes. And when you're spending your money to onboard and get a policy, and at the time you need to get a claim if the risk crystallizes, and you begin to say, and the insurers begin to say, get your arm and leg, get your mom's grandmother's certificate, get this and that and all that. It becomes very cumbersome, and people wouldn't want to go through all that just simply because they want to fix maybe the bumper of your car, for an example, or maybe a part of their home appliances got spoiled because for home insurance and all that. So simply put, this is one of the things that makes people feel reluctant about going for insurance, except when it is compulsory and they know that somebody's going to stop on the road and ask for the compliance of such a policy. So what we've done at Coronation is that we've simplified this process and put it in front of our customers. And what that means is that we have a platform whereby seamlessly you could go in and check for your policies. And in the case of crystallization of any loss, you could also initiate first notice of loss, which is our claims digital platform. And when you initiate that, you get an instant message that enables you progress to the next stage, and it's interactive. So it is not when you send in and you wait and you just go, no, it is interactive. It gives you a feedback that enables you to go to the next step and directs you on how to approach the next step as well. And when you get to the level whereby you need to provide evidences of that loss that are crystallized, then you provide them. More importantly, if you need to provide pictures, there are features on the platform that you can use your phone to provide pictures and send. Then the claims team automatically sees that and responds. So to a very large extent, it has eliminated the cumbersome visit, it has eliminated the cumbersome wait, it has eliminated that distrust because you're getting feedback in online real time. And when that happens, what happens is that it takes you to all necessary interactive process that will enable you get a feedback of the claim. And if there's any charges you're going to be paying in terms of how you comply with the policy, you also get that. And the claimant also gets a paid off within a limit of time less than 24 hours. And that's how our claims processes work. Now, what powers this? Several algorithms and artificial intelligence that are embedded within this claims process. What is artificial intelligence? It's simply an expert system that works or mimics a human sense to direct and work in a manner that any other human being could have worked. So behind that scene is that intelligence that directs, gives you feedback, provides you with the information you may require, and directs you on what to do. And as you provide the requested information, it gives you feedback until it gets to any human being that might do some necessary thing that will do and instantly bring feedback without much delay. And within 24 hours, claims happens. And that's what we've been able to do. And that's what we're doing more in Coronation as an insurance strong player and a front line of digital transformation in the industry. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. So I'll be going to Mr. Benga Adigun. And my first question to you is, Skrilla was created to make smartphone insurance more accessible and convenient for customers. Can you walk us through the specific challenges you faced when introducing a technology-driven insurance model in emerging markets and how you addressed customer assistance and operational bottlenecks or infrastructural limitations to drive adoption?
Okay, thanks for the question. So Skrilla, let me say it very well in case people didn't catch it. Skrilla, S-C-R-E-L-L-A. Yes, it's just the fusion of screen and umbrella. Umbrella is synonymous in the industry for cover. So screen, umbrella, phone cover, phone insurance. So Skrilla is a digital first. We are the first to do what we're doing. Digital first onboarding, remote insurance system that lets you insure your phones from wherever you are in the world. You don't have to come to us. You don't have to come to you. You don't have to go to any office. Download our app on the Google Play Store, on the Apple App Store. It runs a remote health check. If you pass the test, you can pay the premium. Automatically, your insurance policy is sent to you, and then you enjoy your cover. It is that straightforward, that simple. Nobody else has it the way we have done it. You can set up in less than 2 minutes. Now, for a very innovative product like this, what kind of challenges did we face? Number one, trust deficits. People just don't trust insurance in this side of the world. Because again, as it is always been said, you are competing against, God forbid, it is not my portion. It will not happen to me. My phone will not break. I will not be sick. My father will not die. You hear all these kinds of things. And then these things still happen. And then you still face this unexpected financial loss. So it's very important that, the education gap is another, which is number 2 challenge, is something else that, people just don't simply know how insurance works. They don't trust that they'll pay claims. They believe the process is complicated. There's a lot of paperwork. Some even believe it's for big businesses. So these are the kind of challenges we face. How have we been able to surmount them? For Skrilla, for example, you can just go to the App Store, download the app, and we've deployed technology to make insurance process very, very accessible, very simple to onboard. And we just collect your IMEI, which is a very unique way of identifying you, even more important than your name or email. collect the IMEI of the device, and you just upload a simple video that shows the current state of your device. So with this, we believe it has brought down the serious barrier to entry. Somebody doesn't have to come to you. You don't have to open a physical office for instant verification of the health of your device. So another constraint is infrastructure. In a market like us, we have weak identity verification systems, but it's getting better now. We have also, what's it called, looked to innovate around distribution by partnerships and collaborations that work, partnering with smartphone retailers, OEMs. We even went as far as backward integrating to manufacturing the mobile phones ourselves and embedding Skrilla on them, and then we talked to underwriters like Coronation and others to actually underwrite the risk. And then collaborations with fintech platforms and all these other people. So these challenges are enormous, but the biggest for me, I don't want to go on and on. Let me just wrap it up. The biggest challenge is the distrust in the industry, number one. Then two, the education gap around insurance. Every other challenge is being addressed. Then also there's the regulatory side of things. For example, in this side of the world, insurance may work better if we forced, somebody has mentioned it before, force people to buy insurance. Where, for example, like your car insurance is compulsory. So the more compulsory insurance we have, like the new NERA Act, also helped to include things like construction insurance, property, and all of that. All that will help to drive adoption. But overall, we are of the opinion that insurance penetration is 0.5%. We're on the floor already. As I said before, we have no further to fall. The only way to go is up. So it's for us to be in the market, be with the customers, gather the data, stay for the long haul, for whenever the market will be finally ready. The market may be finally ready as people's disposable income increases. Because again, people today, if you tell them to buy insurance, they're telling you, say, now person where don't chop, go buy insurance. Or come and insure an asset. And people don't even have simple assets like a mobile phone to insure. So we're expecting that insurance penetration would also go up as the economy improves and people's disposable income increases. People are able to acquire more assets than they can actually insure. So we are just in the market and being there, gathering the data, being close to the customers, collaborating with partners and industry and players to see how we can continue to drive insurance penetration as a financial protection mechanism for everyone.
All right, thank you so much. And this takes me to Dr. John Dada. Dr. Dada, you have built a solution. Looking at your profile, you have built solutions across healthcare, finance, enterprise system. So what unique infrastructure challenges do African insurance face when adopting AI-driven platform, and how can they overcome them sustainably? Thank you.
Thanks for that question. And it's quite funny because this problem, what I'm going to talk about, are problems that one would think no longer should be the case in the time and age where we are, but it's still the case. The major one is always legacy technology. We have lots of insurance companies who are doing business in 2026 using technology that was built in 2000, right? 2005. Those who are lucky are using something that was built in maybe 2015 or 2016. And these systems are so old that the amount of friction it takes to get a simple thing done just creates unnecessary work. So even the teams using it believe that, okay, this is how systems should be. This is how technology works. Not realizing that what they are using is actually so outdated and does not reflect the state at which technology can make their lives better right now. If I had to give a simple example, you want to increase the rate at which your policies are being sold. You want digital partners to be able to purchase your policies or distribute your policies to their own end customers. And your in-house system, your core business application, does not have API connectivity that they can use to distribute your policies, it's going to fail because they're going to end up sending you purchases on spreadsheets or via email. That doesn't scale, right? So this issue of legacy technology, outdated technology, that doesn't give that enablement to move at the kind of pace that would move the market forward or even move the business. Let's even just focus on a single insurance company. Let's say they have a goal to say, okay, Q1 2026 or Q2 2026, this is our expected net premiums or gross premiums that we want to sell out or whatever. And the technology is not able to support that goal simply because it's too outdated, right? And we've found ourselves in situations where organizations are trying to ramp up or overhaul the entire system. And even the approach of doing that is also usually catastrophic because they tend to think about it the same legacy way of acquiring software instead of thinking about it from a way that helps them move fast, making small changes that are agile, where their systems can progress in weeks instead of months, right? So from legacy systems to thinking legacy and being unable to move up to modern systems quickly. Major challenges. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much. That's well taken, and we believe in that also. Then I'll be going to asking our keynote speaker some question also. And Ma. So my first question to you. All right, Ma. Thank you, Ma. My first question to you is insurance adoption in emerging economies faces many hurdles. Like we have mentioned here today, low awareness, operational inefficiency, and limited access. So from your experience, Ma, leading complex organizations, how can technology and Insurtech solution help overcome these challenges in a way that's really reach the people, the rural areas that you have mentioned? How can we use technology to reach them? Thank you, Ma.
Okay, thank you so much, Shay. And honestly, great responses from the panelists. I was writing, I've learned a few things myself. Thank you so much for sharing from your vast experience. From my experience, building trust, especially in insurance, is not about fancy contracts or big marketing campaigns. It's based simply on the clarity of keeping your promises. People gain confidence when they can see, when they can understand, and when they can experience, insurance working for them. If insurance is not working for people and they can't see it, they can't understand it, then the issue of trust begins to, cause an issue, and technology is key to making this happen, and technology would help in three major ways. And I'm glad that Mr. John Dada and to a great extent, Mr. Gbenga Adigu also, mentioned a couple of this. First of it is awareness. People need to understand insurance in simple terms. Insurance, like I mentioned earlier, it comes to you in very verbose languages, okay? And it's just almost like they come and razzmatazz you, and then you put yourself in it, you immerse yourself in it, and then suddenly you don't even know what's happening anymore. So insurance needs to come in simple terms. They need to use tools. So if it's coming, you can use, tools that people are already used to, through their mobile phones. Is it WhatsApp? Is it the USSD? Could it be the agents? Short, clear explanations and real life stories of claims being paid. We don't want to have somebody mimicking how we want to see real people, who claims have been paid to, so that helps to build more trust than all these adverts that goes on, because the adverts is just, as people are concerned, another way of which you have come to deceive them. The second would be efficiency. Okay. Traditional insurance is slow and complicated. And I mentioned this when I was speaking. Digital solutions like online onboarding, automation, underwriting, and fast claims will naturally reduce, delays, reduce errors, and reduce frustration, that people face. When somebody files a claim and gets paid quickly, and I think Mr. Nelson Madu was talking about some of the processes you have put in place. When they get paid and they get paid quickly, emphasis on quickly, that single experience builds more trust than any marketing, can ever do. And then third is access. People in emerging markets don't have traditional bank accounts, they don't have formal jobs, and in a great extent, a few of them have phones. So technology would help, insurers to reach these people, especially though it starts by reaching the sets that you can reach, and then the others will key into it. There are some people who can afford to get these phones, but they don't want to, because as far as they are concerned, you can't come and bobo me. You understand? So when you put this together, and you tell them that they can have small, affordable payments, you can enter local partnerships with them, then insurance is gradually fitting into their daily lives and budget. So the point of technology is not about, just speed and cost. It's about making insurance practicable. It's about making insurance reliable and inclusive. It has to be inclusive. When people see it solving real problems, for themselves or for their neighbors, or, then adoption naturally grows. And companies that design insurance around real people, not the old systems, but around real people, those are the companies that will succeed in this era. Thank you.
Thank you, ma. Thank you, ma. So I will be going back to Mr. Nelson Madu, and you've listened to what Mrs. Enombo Ezekiel has said. So I will be asking you a question on everything she has said. And my question is, digital adoption requires not only tools, like she said, not only tools, but also customer education. How can insurers, the operators now, how can they use technology not just to deliver policies, like she said, not to deliver policies alone, but also to educate policyholders in real time about coverage, claims, benefits, particularly in markets where insurance literacy is low, like Nigeria? Thank you. Or emerging economy.
Yeah, thank you, Shay, and thank you, fellow speakers. As a follow-up to what Mrs. Sonoban had just said, I would agree with her that trust is the main of getting people onboarded and then convincing them to have insurance policies. Now, education is significant to trust, and education inculcates communication, and that communication also tailors down to how you pass your message, your storytelling, and convincing whoever that you're speaking to in a way that whatever you said is verifiable, it is true, it is appropriate, and it provides accurate and true position of things. Engagement could happen via contents on the phone. And this content in every community, small and big, there are interactions, and is a mix of all individuals. And what powers such engagement is the technology. And that technology is on the phone. And with your phone, which is a very powerful tool, just like somebody carrying the entire world in his hand, can be used for unimaginable kind of things, including insurance. Now, education using telephone could include personalizing insurance discussions, enabling people leverage their social interactions to discuss about insurance. And when testimonials come in a manner that people have seen and trust what has happened, it encourages everybody to see that even though you could be on the dry season today, rainy day might come. And when the rainy day comes, is your umbrella ready? And if your umbrella is not ready, it is good to invest in one and keep it handy and standby. So that's one of it. The second part of it is community engagement. Community engagement means when you're introducing insurance to people, you could speak the language they understand. You break it down into a very granular form. Even on the social media, everybody is on social media, both young and old. And that's where most of the things come. Every news, people hardly even look at the TV these days, but they tell you things happening everywhere in the whole world using your social media. And when you use real life scenario of an animated local language avatar or technology-powered communication process, to tell people about insurance, the need for that insurance, and how they could go about it, you find out that they are more in tune and they are more aligned to understanding what you're saying, and the buy-in would increase. Now, what does that do for us? What it does is that when somebody buys, sees what you're saying and is able to verify it, then the trust grows. And when trust grows, that adoption also grows because adoption is proportional to trust in the insurance purchase. Now, what that makes it more interesting is that when you tell your story, which is another part of it, when you tell your story in a way that um, either directly or through technology, short videos, or through other interactions through the agents. And these things get to the very granular levels, not just only people who they think they can afford it, but everybody. Example is when you get to a market woman on the street who even sells anything on the table or akara, and then you want to, and you now make the person understand the need to onboard a life insurance that even could pay 1,000 naira per month for that will enable her cover hospital bill for herself and even maybe by extension either 500 or 1,000 again for one or two of her children. And she finds out that when at any point in time she has access to online real-time medical care, and she makes a test of it and it works, I can assure you she becomes an ambassador and a testimonial to every other person. You think you guys say, it works, so, and she begins to speak about it. And because she is the one who is speaking about it, and because she has gotten this trust from somebody like you and I, who have made her understand this and practicalize it, then this penetration continues to grow. And that's why I say that when things like this happen, and what powers that interaction is a phone that is in your hand, which you could just use, make this onboarding, test that call to a medical professional that responds to it and provides these services and shows that it has worked. Then that too has efficiently and convincingly made her understand that all the story we're telling is not just story, but a practical story that she can attest to. And with that, penetration can also grow in terms of educating people, and then education also transforms that process of increased penetration across the entire areas where penetrations are very, very low. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. So please, to Mr. Gbenga Adigun now, my second question to you will be, Mr. Gbenga Adigun. So, okay, my second question. All right, thank you, sir. My second question to you is, looking at the partnership between insurance and technology firm are becoming more common. Because I want to ask this question because we have some of our Insurtech people on this call also. So like, I believe it will help them. So yet, alignment of culture and objectives can be challenging. From your experience, sir, what makes an Insurtech partnership successful, and how can both sides move beyond pilot projects to build scalable revenue generating models that genuinely expand insurance adoption? Thank you.
Yeah, fantastic question. So, the future of insurance is not traditional insurance versus technology companies. It's more like insurance or traditional insurance powered by technology companies like Skrilla, Curacell, and the rest of them. But again, partnerships often fail because both sides approach these things with different expectations. For example, the cultural gap. So traditional insurance prioritize risk management, regulatory compliance, and maybe actuarial precision, which at best is not a precise science in itself. So Insurtech, on the other hand, prioritize speed, customer experience, and innovation. So what would make partnership work is structural alignment. So for example, what can actually work is, putting it very clearly, is a clear value creation. The partnership must solve a real problem. For example, Skrilla enables insurers to access, I don't want to use the word new asset class, but to insure things they may not have paid a lot of attention to. Traditional insurance before now, I wanted to insure your smartphone. They'll tell you to insure your house, put your smartphone under a component of your whole house. But because again, to them, it's not worth their time. They're chasing big ticket transactions, aviation, marine, fire, oil and gas, all these big ones, and say, come and insure your smartphone. They'll be like, it's too small for me. So that kind of collaboration where the value creation is very clear. Skrilla takes off all that headache off you to do things like devices, why you can go and chase your marine and fire and aviation. It makes it very easy. So clear value creation helps partnerships work. For example, let me tell you a story. October last year, 4-5 months ago, I was in China. I was went for the Canton Fair, the popular Canton Fair, April and October, flying from Guangzhou to a state called Zhengzhou. And there was a flight delay because of weather issues. So as we were sitting down, just waiting, looking at the screen to check when next when the flight information will come up. Some people around me, just a group of people traveling together, they were about 6 or 7. They just started jubilating. They were happy. Everybody was looking at their phone. They were looking at Alipay. Guess what happened? I was so excited. I wanted to know. They got credited for a flight delay. It was an insurance product. Anything beyond 2 hours of flight cancellation or delay, you are not filing any claim. You are not even going to say, my flight was delayed. This is the flight number. This is event-driven insurance. They just, because of course, this insurance company has APIs with all the airline integrations and blah, 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 blah. They will just credit to Backcam. So imagine paying, so I went as far as asking what was the premium. They paid $1 or $2 premium for about a $300 flight. And you're getting almost the full value of your flight. So imagine this level of customer service, this level of precise risk that may crystallize, very defined policies. And you pay that kind of claim. You trust me, like somebody, Mrs. Ezekiel said, you don't even need to go to social media and spend money on any marketing budget. All those people will be your disciples singing your song and selling the product for you. So when we have, this is too far, I know, because I don't know if you can do that in Lagos, the local airlines we have in Nigeria, the local airlines we have, the insurance, you might be in trouble because we know how they do with these things. But are there other identifiable opportunities like this where we know that the risk, the actuary behind it, the risk is highly predictable? We know the pattern of defaults, but if they go on to eventually crystallize, would go more than beyond customers' expectation and delight them. So if somebody is satisfied with one small insurance product, travel, his flight gets delayed or canceled, his phone breaks, it gets fixed, starting at that small scale and seeing how insurance works would now help the person to go on later in life, maybe when they can afford a house, a car, health, life, to buy insurance because they see how the micro insurance has worked. So having a clear, defined this thing, value creation really helps. Then again, I've talked about distribution, innovation, embedding insurance into everything. Mr. Nelson talked about insurance being sold and not bought. There's nothing truer than those words. Because in Nigeria, somebody has to do the convincing. It's not like buying food where I'm already hungry. I walk into a restaurant because I need it. I would die if I don't eat this food. Insurance, it'll be like, I've never had it. I didn't have it all my life. Nobody died. Why should I buy it? Would you pay me? Who would I call? Where would I go to? So for now, driving adoption is to look for ways to make people buy it. I don't want to use the word force, but that word actually works until when the market will be very, very ready. So embedding insurance really helps. We are checking out like this thing, like this experience I was telling you about. So on that Alipay, once you buy the flight on Alipay, as you're checking out, you're seeing the insurance thing there. Delayed or flight cancellation, $1. You just check it. Simple button. Some people even check it without knowing. Some people even said they didn't know they checked it. They just got the alert. So imagine this level of products that can really help to drive partnerships. Then, finally, to wrap things up, another way of making telcos not telcos, making traditional insurance firms and Insurtech, partnership work is to move beyond pilot projects. So if you start something, you start an experiment or you co-create a product, no matter how good or bad that product does, is to continue to look for ways you can innovate and keep moving on to the next thing and the next thing till you get it right. That might require shared KPIs, revenue sharing structures, co-creating the product from the beginning so that it's something for the long term. So successful partnerships will require traditional insurance firms to provide the risk capacity, which they already have, their legacy, they've been there for a while. Then Insurtechs can now focus on providing the technology, the distribution, and the data. And if they have this, they are going to experience mutual growth, and it will not just be at experimentation, it work, it didn't work. So I think these are my thoughts on your question.
All right, great. Well, clear. The thoughts are very, very clear and germane, and there are things that I believe the audience could find worthy and to hold in high esteem. So I go to Dr. Dada for the second question. Sir, for your second question, Curacell focuses heavily on automating claims management. How do you ensure that AI-driven decision-making balances speed and accuracy with fairness, transparency, and trust for both insurance and customer who may be unfamiliar with such technology? I don't know if you get that question, sir.
Yeah, I
All
do pretty much.
Thank
So yeah, you talked about AI. AI is a very interesting thing in a way. Some people see it as a black box that you really do not understand what is going on. Some people understand what is going on, right? But depending on the industry you're playing, the risk or the amount of black box behavior that you can do is very limited. Insurance is one of those spaces. Healthcare is also one of those spaces, which is, where I came from originally. So I'll just mention a couple of things. If I were to get very technical, and if I have technical people here, I would have said something like ground truth normalization distribution, where in layman's terms, what we're trying to do is ensure that the data being used to train AI models in question is not skewed to one side. So imagine a scenario where you are teaching a student how to perform a task, and then they have 10 or 20 variations of this task, and then you only focus on 15 out of the 20. You ignore 5. By the time the student is in the real world and is trying to actually deal with this task, he ends up, when he meets the 5 years, doesn't understand what to do because he was never trained on that. So one is to ensure that the data we use to train AI models is well distributed. It's not biased in the training so that it doesn't create biased results in real life. And the second thing that we also do is to ensure that we have what we call a confidence scoring system. AI systems can make decisions, very, very true. Can they make wrong decisions? Yes. How do we know that this decision was wrong? This is where confidence scoring comes in. And this is technology that is part of the way AI models are built traditionally, where you can get a model to evaluate its own decision and give it a score. What this then does is help us know that, okay, for this particular case, for this particular claim, or for this particular assessment that was done, I am 100% certain that it is good to go. Like, it is a good rejection, a good approval, nothing else needs to happen. And this helps us achieve speed and accuracy. If the confidence score is now dropping below, let's say 80% or 70% or whatever, we then know that, okay, this particular result or this particular assessment needs to be checked. And it's not automatically transferred to the next step in the process. This is also now gauging speed and accuracy, where the higher scores move through the pipeline very fast and the lower scores are delayed in the pipeline to ensure higher accuracy, which then takes us to the final step in the whole thing, or maybe I won't call it the final step, which is where we have a human in the loop process. So when assessments do not meet maybe the threshold of confidence scores, human in the loop comes in. And most of the case, what you find out is, 80% of cases always meets the 80% mark, right? What you have is maybe 20% or 10% of cases are the ones that fall below the threshold. So these ones that fall below the 80% threshold, for example, are the ones that are now sent through a human to actually review the decisions that the AI model made. for those particular assessments. And the way this works is, as this keeps happening, the system automatically learns and can improve on such cases over time, such that the next time it encounters such a case, it's not going to make the mistake it's made that the human had to correct it, resulting in a low confidence score. It actually learns from the corrections that were made by the human who reviewed it the last time and can automatically just keep repeating that when it encounters it going forward, right? So all of these processes ensure that things move fast, but at the same time, we're not increasing our risk with low accuracy. And the final part is explainability. The results need to be explainable so that when someone is looking at it, they do not understand or they are not confused as to how the whole results came about. Because you can't tell me a claim was rejected and you can't explain why. There needs to be a reason, right? So those are like some few examples of the things we did to ensure speed and accuracy without breaking process for everyone. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. And that is duly appreciated. And I just need to mention this to the panelists that after the second round of question, we'll go to the chat box to we are happy to announce to you. Now, I don't know if it is announcement that we have a lot of engagement today and we have a lot of questions on the chat, and we'll be reading the question from the chats after this second round of question. So my second question to you, ma'am, Mrs. Enombong. So my second question to you is, trust is a major concern in insurance adoption. From your perspective, what step can insurer and technology platform take to build confidence with customer, especially those buying insurance for the first time? Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so we are back on this trust issue again. I wonder why the trust questions come to me. I hope everybody can trust me, including the panelists, because I seem to be the one that gets, excuse me, the trust questions. Okay, excuse me. Trust, obviously, as you know, is still trust is definitely still a major issue with insurance. And like I mentioned, I think when I talked about trust at the first question, it's not a fancy ad or some sort of complicated contract that you're putting together. It's actually built on, are you doing what you promised you were going to do? Okay. I'm sorry, Mr. Adigu, you would help me again with the name of your company, because I think it has a ring to it.
Skrilla.
Krella, okay. So okay, I see that now. Krella. Okay, are you doing what you actually promised you were going to do? Making it simple for people to actually, see it working, because there's a lot of distrust happening today, and we all agree. And if you now come to the point where you're trying to sell me some insurance products, like I think it was Mr. Digu, yeah, I think it was him who said we will get to the point where you probably need to force people to actually buy. But if you're going to get to that point where you want to force people to buy, then I need to see that it is working, and you need to give me examples that it is working. So you have first-time buyers. Confidence comes from experience. So if the first thing insurance must do is to keep it simple. Explain policies in plain everyday language. Everyday language. So people know exactly what's covered and what is not covered. All these read the thin lines, read behind the lines, read. People don't have time for that. It must be in plain, simple language. Tell me as it is. Make it, easy, everyday language. Make it relatable so that I can understand what I'm getting myself into. Claims need to be fast and fair. Mr. Agbenga gave us a good example. I wish that I was one of those people who got, I would just be flying back and forth, $1 premium. I'd just be collecting full claims. You understand? Make it fast and fair. A small claim that is paid quickly does more than trust than any marketing campaign. And Mr. Gwenga said, he mentioned that early. People remember how insurers behave than when it really matters. How are you behaving? What is that thing that you're doing when it really matters? Are people, it's not the one that people are going to come and form very long queues, waiting just so that they can get their claims paid. You understand? And then consistency matters. Consistency matters. Whether someone uses an app or is talking to an agent or is calling customer service, The experience should be smooth and predictable. I used to be a banker for about 22 years. And in one of the banks that I worked, we ensured that consistency was across all touch points. Across all touch points. It was seamless. And what you experienced on the app was the same thing you experienced if you're talking, to an agent face to face or a customer service person. It must be predictable. A broken touch point can undo all the trust that you have built over time. And like we say in the sales and marketing world, one customer can destroy than just from word of mouth. Word of mouth has destroyed many businesses. And word of mouth is one of the reasons why insurance is still the way insurance is today. Because word of mouth it's just me telling my neighbor, telling the other person, and nobody's going to take it. You understand? And then again, technology should make things visible, not hidden. Mr. John Dada, it should be visible, not hidden. Real-time updates, clear communication, transparency, showing customers that the process is working. So that at the end of the day, trust becomes very simple. You understand? Clarity, speed, consistency. If, all these things come into play, and people begin to see insurance not just as a promise on paper, but something that actually works when they need it. Trust me, you have like God knows 100% of issues being resolved. So trust is more vital than we can even think about. And it is the same word of mouth of the people who distrusted before, when they now start to see that these things are working, are the same people that will spread it faster than your marketing campaigns can. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Like I said, we have a lot of engagement today, and I will be going to and minding our time. We want to wrap things up by 12, and we have to give our audience some time also. So for the first question from Andrew Iyaji, the Naira can't make uptake increase rapidly. So I believe Mr. Andrew wants to ask if Naira Act can actually make the uptake of insurance rapidly. And without even going to the panelists, I will just speak to that to say Naira is good. Naira looks at growing the penetration and growing the premium for the industry and making the industry being there for all the businesses and covering businesses, losses and everything. But Naira alone, if not enforced, cannot make the uptake. And that is what the panelists and the keynote speakers actually discussed with us today, that there's a need for enforcement, there's a need for compliance. If we don't comply or there's no enforcement of the Naira Act, there won't be an increase in the uptake. So thank you. I believe that answers your question. And for question 2, how are you addressing the challenge of age for older people in their late 50s or early 60s interested in picking up an insurance policy? Mr. Adigun, I believe you should be able to speak to this, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, I'll be very quick on it. Anonymous attendee, okay, didn't say his name. He did not mention, okay, insurance policy. Is there any target or any focus on health, life,
Yeah.
because somebody who is 60 years old, you can't expect him to pay the same premium for health insurance as somebody who is 25. 60 years old man, you already have prostate, you probably have hypertension that are managing, high blood pressure, all these things. So I don't know what exactly this question is focused on. However, talking about senior citizens, people in their 50s, 60s, 70s, one thing is very clear: education. Everybody has said it, there's no need to overflog it. It has to be clear exactly what is being sold to them. The policies must be specific, whether it's health, whether it's life, whether it's property, whatever it is. And then the government also has a role to play in taking care of senior citizens like this. There might be policy formulation that may make insurance easier or more adoptable for senior citizens. There's something they are already trying to do that was in the House of Assembly. I can't remember what it was for senior citizens regarding maybe health or something like that. So government also has a hand in it, and other industry players also can create tailor-made products and services, insurance products and services that will attend to these senior citizens.
All right. Thank you, sir. So this question will go to Mr. Nelson because coronation was actually mentioned. And the question is, many insurers in emerging markets still struggle with claims, friction, and customer trust. How open an insurers like Coronation to working with Insurtech platform that automates eligibility validation and claims trigger using operational data source, for example, innovation or logistics system? The question is from Abdul Isiak. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, Say. And thank you, Abdul, for that very good question. At Coronation, we partner a lot with other companies such as Scrado and Curacell, and we have a lot of embedded insurance in various organizations, and then across many industries, including marketplaces, car purchases, and across every industry, to be honest. And what happens is that the interface will have them that is powered by API, then the relevant automations that determines whatever risk that is going to be covered, also part of what is included in the process of the underwriting that happens. Now, talking about the claims, companies might struggle, or individuals might struggle with claims because of the kind of insurance company they deal with. It's not all the insurance company that has come of age to the level of automating all their claims processes. I have had experience sometime where just an opening my bumper, ordinary car bumper opening that someone just hit me behind. It took over 3 months for me to get the little 30,000 naira that they would use to get into it to resolve or fix that issue. Why? Because they are still doing the manual process. They're still doing the call and negotiation process. They're still doing the, okay, let me talk to my boss. It's not approved. Why do you write? Send me email and all that. But in an automated manner where you have a digitalized claims process where you could go to a platform, for example,
Is it my internet? I can't hear Mr. Nelson.
No, it's not yours. I think it's frozen a bit.
Shay, you're muted.
Hello? Okay, so I will go to the next question. And I believe Mr. Dr. Dada should be able to speak to this. So the next question is, about NERA, and Andre Yaji is asking if NERA have the capacity for confirmation by all stakeholders.
I thought you already answered the question on NERA. But give or take, yes, like we can say it does, they do, and it's not going to be an isolated effort. It's going to be a joint effort by everyone in the ecosystem, because one man or one entity or one process cannot fix a problem that has existed for centuries. It's going to take a joint effort from multiple parties. So the answer is yes, but everyone else needs to be involved.
All right. Thank you, sir. So for Mr. Mr. Kazim Fashashi, so I would just say you submit a proposal, a partnership proposal through our front desk, and I believe it will go to the right place and we'll reach out to you. Thank you, sir. And for Mr. Peter from Kenya. So, Madam, I believe this is for you. Ma'am, Yes, Mrs. Enombong. So this question is for you from Peter, Kenya. Thank you for insightful webinar. With the rise of aggregators and embedded insurance enabling new distribution model across markets, my question is, what are the key barriers that still limit cross-border insurance capabilities across Africa countries despite the available technology?
I think this is more a question for Benga.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think this is more a question for Benga because, I mean, God, I don't want to spoil the name of the company, so Benga, I'm not even going to say it, but you know the name of the company. Because we're talking those barriers, and that's part of the things that your company tends to, right, manage, if I'm not aware. So I think Benga can respond to this more and give Mr. Peter a more impactful response, my opinion.
Okay.
If you ask.
Thank you for that, Mrs. Ezekiel. Not to be very quick on this, Mr. Peter, fantastic question. But before answering this, what are the challenges that has faced the AFCFTA? What are the challenges that have faced PAPS, Pan-African Payment Settlement System, and AFTCA? All these challenges, one big one, for example, is policy alignment across countries that are supposed to be in this block. So your SON standard, the kind of goods that come into, I'm just giving an example, that come into Nigeria, will their SON let it slip through their own border? So where there's no policy alignment, it affects even down to the tech system, payment system, how money is being moved. For example, in places like Kenya, you can't, because we tried to go on an expansion drive 2 years ago. To just your what we call CAC documents here, you must have, especially in most of East Africa, Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, you must have a resident there who is like the majority shareholder. Sometimes when you even make money there, you almost cannot move out those monies. So there are many things which we cannot discuss in this setting, but the same issues that have stopped Africa from trading within Africa, the same issues that has made freedom of people and goods and services difficult within Africa, the same issues that has not made us to have a unified payment system are still the same issues that is affecting cross-border collaboration capabilities. This is my own take.
Thank you, sir. And Dr. Dada, I'm coming back to you, and from the perspective of someone building Insurtech infrastructure, Insurtech tends to iterate very quickly when developing new insurance model, but traditional insurers often operate within longer regulatory and operational cycle. In Nigeria today, do you think insurers are organizationally prepared to co-create and bring new products to market with Insurtech at the same speed? Thank you.
All right, great one. And the answer to that is not a yes or no. It's more of a thing of it is the picture that we need to make happen. Because in reality, traditional insurers actually want to do all of this. They want to co-create policies. They want to design policies that will move faster, that are more convenient for customers. The question is, it goes back to the
I will just take one.
How efficiently can these partnerships thrive? So yes, the answer is really yes. They have the capacity. They might need to change a few things. They might need to adjust a few nooks and crannies here to be able to work efficiently with Insurtechs. You can take cue from some of the examples that Mr. Gbenga mentioned earlier when he was answering the question about partnership, on how they can align priorities and where each party is strong in terms of their capacities and for speed and risk management, right? So the answer is yes. It's just going to take some work on both parties to make it happen. Pretty much.
All right, thank you for that. Thank you for that precise answer. And for the audience and our participants, we are sorry we won't be able to take more questions. We need to go back to our final question for the panelists. And if you notice your time, you'll see that we have less than 10 minutes. So we are sorry. We can continue the conversation on social media. You can follow us on social media on all platforms and send us all your questions. We will daily respond to them via those platforms. So we'll be going back to, and for people asking for the slides, yes, once you share your name during your email during registration, we'll share the slide with you after the session. Thank you. So I will be going back to the final question for the panelists. I wouldn't know if Mr. Nelson is back, but let me just, okay, thank you.
Yes, somebody.
Mr. Nelson, all right, sir. Thank you, sir. Welcome back. So how is Coronation, my final question to you today is, how is Coronation Insurance specifically strengthening its digital infrastructure to ensure that as adoption increases, the system remains resilient against the cyber security risk inherent in emerging economies?
Yeah, thank you, Shay, for that very critical questions. First of all, for us to commence the transformation journey, the first thing we've done is to strengthen our infrastructure base. And what that means is revamping and upgrading our infrastructure, which is the bedrock of every transformation drive we're backed on. And doing that, we implemented state-of-the-art infrastructure. Now, having put the infrastructure in place and having commenced our drive to transform our customer journey, operational efficiency, and all necessary transformation agenda that we intended to drive across the number of years on the journey we're going for. It is important that in all that there's control, because if you recall, he really said that power without control is nothing. So when you put all those things in place and have access to our customers through our digital channels, which include our retail portal, digital claims platform, the Coronation World, and then our front-end sales through the agency platform as well. And those things are running seamlessly and you're able to access it. Now, what happens if the bad guys in society tries to sneak into it and then cause damages? So what we've done to prevent such is that we strengthened our infrastructure space in terms of security, starting from the internal and the external infrastructure, ensuring that all the security apparatus that we need to put in place are all in there. Then looking at other interfaces we've had to connect to our partners, people like Coracel and other companies, the APIs that we're giving to them are also part of exposures we could experience. We provided infrastructure or security apparatus that will ensure that every interface within those spaces, even in the embedded insurance aspect of it, are all purely protected. So what we have done again is we have also partnered and built in-house strength and capability on Security Operations Center, where we monitor everything in real time, get the reports at the right time, ensure that this every threat are nipped in the bud and dealt with. So on a daily basis, monthly, hourly, minute by minute, our infrastructure monitors every interface that comes, every interaction that comes either through an interface or on every front end from the internet that connects externally and internally within our infrastructure. Now, more importantly, you can be only strong if all your interfaces are strong. So you are weak, or you can be strong as your strength is as strong as the weakness internally. So what we've done is that on monthly basis, we educate our people internally on how to nip every security threat in the board, how to identify those securities, both from observing their pattern, observing the emails they send through email phishing, and observing every aspect of possible threats that could come within our system. And also, before we onboard anybody, we embark on what you call impact analysis in terms of the strength of who we're partnering with and how much strong they are in terms of security and protection. And then we ensure that those things are put in place before we even embark on those technology integrations that we embark on. So with all these things, we strengthen our environment and ensure that there's no threat from anywhere and people can go home, sleep. And then when they come back, they still see their transactions, their policies, and every of their data information in place. Now, we're also big on data protection, which is a very significant part of ensure that customers are safe in our hands. So we protect our customers and we engage our customers in such a way that their own interface interaction with us are also protected regardless of whoever we interface with. And all this put in place are the things we've done to ensure that at every point in time within the space of our interface, internally and externally, and even when we expose our interactions and service point or point of distributions of our product and services on the internet that are purely protected, and we are good to go. And so far, Coronation Insurance has done a very good job in making sure that our customers trust us in terms of security. We've done a very good job in ensuring that distribution that we provide to customers across all our touch points on the channels are all upfront and then strengthened in a manner that the customers have never brought any complaint about any breach, whether in both their data sets or in their transactions, and even in the threat in terms of how we even interact with all of our partners through which our products are distributed. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. And for other panelists, please, we want to keep to time. So in just 1 minute, I would just like you to summarize and the question, your response to the question I'll be asking in just 1 minute. So for Mr. Adegun, looking ahead 5 to 10 years, what does the digitally matured insurance ecosystem in an emerging economy look like? So what do you think in next 5 years? Where do you think we'll be?
Very quickly, over the next decade, what I would like to see is a transformation similar to what happened in banking. 20 years ago, thereabouts, banking required branches to expand. But today, millions of banks, millions of people bank through the bank mobile app. OPay and MoneyPoint probably recorded the largest transaction volume count, not value, last year. How many branches do these guys have? So what I'm looking at in 10 years is insurance should follow the same trajectory. So whether it's being run by Coronation, Hairs, whoever, Skrilla, it should be the same trajectory. Then embedded insurance should be everywhere. 10 years from now, if you're buying a phone, you should not be asked the question, do you want insurance or not? As they are selling the phone to you, you're buying it with insurance. As you're buying electronics, TV, fridge, air condition, you're selling it with it. As you're buying tickets to travel, it is embedded. As you're purchasing things online, it is embedded. In fact, in China, it's so crazy. If you buy something online, there's an insurance option on Alipay. If that thing does not get delivered to you in 20 minutes, I repeat, 20 minutes, you get paid a premium. Even though the thing eventually comes 30 minutes after, you will collect it plus, not your premium, you collect that, your item you paid for, and the claim, whatever claim that has been defined from the outset. So see the superlative level of customer service. That is where I want us to be in 10 years. Then also, very quickly, data-driven underwriting, real-time data, where we're using telemetry, IoT, AI-driven risk scoring, behavioral analytics. What this means is if you buy a ticket to fly somewhere, everybody on that flight did not buy a ticket at the same price. Based on your risk assessment, your behavior, you should be paying a different premium than others. So, but all of this should be a real time, like a smart self-driving electric car who is looking at the traffic lights, interpreting road signs, checking for other cars and people, and making an on-the-go real-time decision, things like that. So we can have dynamic pricing and personalized coverage. And finally, in 10 years from now, what would I like to see? Just every insurance business should just behave like fintech apps: instant onboarding, transparent pricing, fast claims, mobile self-service, simple language, simple product, and by then we would really be where we want to be. Because if you check countries like the United States, where insurance firms are literally bigger than banks, balance sheet wise, I think Nigeria still has a lot to go. There's a lot of promise for everybody playing in that industry, and most especially for the customers that we will be serving. Yeah, those are my thoughts for the next couple of years.
All right, thank you, sir. To my doctor, Dr. Flash, you are personally known as Dr. Flash. So permit me to call you that Dr. Flash now, since we are already winding down. So I would just ask for your advice. What advice would you give to young people like us, young Africa technologists who want to build globally relevant solutions from within emerging markets? Dr. Flash.
Thank you very much. In a few words, I'll try to be as brief as possible. So one, I always think about things from multiple perspectives, right? And if you think about dispersion of light, those of us who did physics, white light passes through a prism. By the time it comes out of the other end, you see multiple colors, right? So multiple colors exist in white light. And I think about life that way. To be a founder, you need to have multiple colors within yourself. And simple examples of these things would be resilience, resilience and focus, being able to pay attention to one thing, and even when it's not easy, you are still there because you believe in it. You get your head down, you focus on that one thing, you're resilient in the tough times, you're still there. Even if you don't get the shiny result or the shiny attention within 24 hours, or within 1 month, or within 6 months, or within 1 year, sometimes it takes even 3 years before your idea or your startup gets the slightest bit of attention. Be focused and resilient. Next thing I'll say is attention to detail. A lot of entrepreneurs believe entrepreneurship is about noise and being messy and not necessarily getting things done right. You can be out there for a long amount of time, but you are not doing anything right. So attention to detail, getting the details right, and finally being curious. Just pay attention to the world. What is really going on? What problems exist? How can I solve them? Those would be my few points for how young people can be effective as founders. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. And to our keynote speaker, finally from you, ma. So if you are to give one key insight to participants today, what would that be? Just in summary.
Okay. Okay, so for me, I'm saying that leadership is something that is really important to me. I would say that leadership sets that direction, you know. Leadership sets that direction, and it also determines and decides the kind of insurance market that we want to see. An insurance market that is accessible, affordable, and trusted by everyone. So for leaders need to champion simplicity, and leaders need to be in that space where they are constantly asking, does this serve the customer? Does this serve not just does this increase profit, but does this serve the customer? Does this serve the customer? And especially in Nigeria today, we have a young, connected population, that expects services to be digital, fast, easy. So it's so important. They will not accept slow, confusing, paper-based processes. And it's important that we are moving in line with that kind of population that is coming up. So there's the opportunity to build an inclusive insurance market that is huge. And we need to do that fast, but because the window is actually closing and we need to do that fast. So yes, invest in technology, no problem. But more importantly, invest in leadership, because leadership has the vision and courage, to use technology to genuinely serve the people. And technology alone doesn't build trust. Leadership decisions do. It's very important. One good experience delivered consistently can change perceptions, can change the way people see the insurance business and see the Insurtech coming across the entire communities, And then, of course, my key message would be, as I round this up, because we're done, is lead with integrity, use technology, to keep your promises, and then, of course, adoption would follow. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, ma. We appreciate that. And in order not to waste our time, because we are actually exceeded 12, permit me to invite for the closing prayer. Sorry, closing remarks and vote of thanks. Judith Egon, thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Judith Egono from the Marketing and Communications Unit here at Coronation Insurance PLC. I would like to say thank you all for being part of today's session. Honestly, it's been a very insightful and engaging conversation, and we truly appreciate the time you've spent with us. I know everyone's schedules are busy, so your presence here means a lot. First, I'd like to say a big thank you to our keynote speaker and our panelists for sharing their knowledge, their experiences, their perspectives. The insights you've shared here today has given us a lot to think about, especially around innovation. New ways of thinking can definitely help move our industry forward. I also want to appreciate our moderator for guiding the conversation so smoothly, and of course, everyone who asked questions and participated. Your engagement really brought the session to life and made the discussion even more meaningful. Conversations like this are important for us here at Coronation Insurance PLC because we believe learning should never stop. The more we share ideas, challenge perspectives, and explore possibilities together, the stronger our industry becomes. So we hope you are leaving today with a few new insights, maybe even a different way of looking at some of the changes happening around us, and perhaps a conversation you continue with your colleagues and teams. Please stay connected with us for more conversations like this in the future. We'll continue to host sessions where we can learn together and keep pushing the boundaries of what insurance can do for us as individuals, businesses, and communities. Thank you once again for joining us today, and do have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Judith. And before we go, I just want to bring to our attention that we can also be part of the winning spree that is happening in Coronation. We have a big reward for you if you participate or if you take up policies from us, either from any of our business. Either you are doing a protection policy, you are protecting your car, you are protecting your life. As you are buying those policies, we're also having a reward for you, and that's what's. If you check your screen, that's what is currently displaying. You can win as big as a car. You can win a car, you can win a generator, you can win iPhone. So even buying from us alone is not to only protect and pay your claims. You will also be rewarded for it. Thank you for joining the conversation. And like Judy said, meet us on social media for all the questions, because we noticed that we could not answer so many questions today. So on social media, just come to our social media. We have people that will bring the questions in-house and we'll deal with them and get back to you. Thank you so much. I remain your humble moderator for today. I am Oluwaseyi Ibilike from Strategy and Product Management Office. Thank you and do have a wonderful day. Bye.
Thank you so much for having me, and to the
Thank
panelists,
you, ma.
thank you. It was a
Thank you,
pleasure
ma.
to
Thank
meet
you, ma.
you.
Thank you to our panelists.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.